Dear visitors, dear guests in Ljubljana, welcome. Dobro došli in the capital of Slovenia called Ljubljana. Today we are starting our visit on the main square in the city, and this square is called now Prešeren Trg. Behind me there is a sculpture, a statue of the greatest Slovenian poet called Prešeren. He lived in 19th century, so many years ago. However, for us Slovenians, still nowadays a very important person. Why? In 19th century, up to the end of the First World War, Ljubljana and generally part of Slovenia, the main language, official language was German. They said that Slovenian language is not good enough, for poetry, for novel writing. But this guy behind me proved that Slovenian language is good enough for that as well. So he wrote a lot of poetry, and among them also our national anthem. He was inspired by a muse. If you look closer, above him you're going to see a very pretty lady. So that was a muse, his inspiration. This muse made quite a lot of problems to our bishops. Namely, when the monument was put here 100 and almost 20 years ago, that time's bishop said, you know what? This muse is a bit too naked. She shouldn't be next to a monastery. We are still on Prešeren Square. But once this square was called Mary's Square, Virgin Mary Square, because of this church behind me, a very monumental building from 17th century, Franciscan church. Next to it we have also a monastery. Franciscan prayers are still here. I don't know if you noticed, but in Ljubljana we have over 50,000 students, a lot of young people. And we say that these Franciscans, they take care that their souls are not lost in this big city, capital city. So the church itself was built in 17th century. Lots of people think that this is our main church, the cathedral. However, the story is a bit different. The cathedral is in the old part, near the market. And in those times, this was outside of the city center. So there was not enough room, for all the churches that people had in the old city. And they said to Franciscan friars, go out of the town walls. There you'll have enough room for it. And now, look, 250 years ago, afterwards, the prayers are in the city center, and I think the building itself has an excellent position. A lot of people like to take picture on the staircase of this red church, looking towards the castle, towards the fountain, and also in the direction of the city hall and the market of Ljubljana. We are still on Prešeren Square. You see, it's a tiny square. However, wherever you are looking at, there is always something interesting. Behind me, there are some buildings built in Art Nouveau. We call also Jugendstil or Secession. Why? The old part of the city in 1895, so 120 years ago, was destroyed in an earthquake. And that time's mayor said, you know what? The city is destroyed. Let's make a new modern city on the left riverbank where we have a lot of space. In those days they had only this red church that we already mentioned, Franciscan's church. The rest were all small houses. So what they decided to do? They did a ring outside of the city center, and then all these narrow streets, they bring us directly to a new center, and that's so-called Prešeren Square. And in those days, the most important, the most chic, the most modern building style was Art Nouveau. So here on this square you're going to find a lot of very colorful buildings and a lot of young people. On the street behind me, this is one of the most, let's say, chic streets for young people. If you're looking for your daughter or son, most probably you're going to find it on this Chopova street. Believe it or not, this is the highest part of the square, Prešeren Trg. Most probably you notice there are quite a few streets that are bringing us from different parts of the city directly to this square, Prešeren Trg, with the monument on the side. And then, where to go next? With locals, we always say, let's meet at Prešeren, and then we're going to see where we're going to drink our coffee. Usually somewhere along the river. Also, you can cross the 3 bridges, which you can clearly see now behind me. You can see the castle on the top of the hill, you can see the town hall, and in between, as I mentioned, a lot of squares and coffee shops. Dear visitors, thank you very much for your attention today. We really wish you a very pleasant and nice day in our capital. And don't forget, look for us on our Ljubljana TV in the program called Ljubljana for You. Enjoy your time in Ljubljana. Welcome.